The Jungle Escape. Tyler, Emily, Jason, and Ava had been best friends since childhood. Despite living in the busy city of New York, they all shared a deep love for nature. After weeks of being buried in work and school, they decided it was finally time for an adventure. They'd heard about a remote part of the Appalachian jungle, a place far from the crowds, with dense woods, mysterious caves, and rumored treasures. It seemed like the perfect getaway, a chance to reconnect with nature and with each other. The journey started out as they had imagined, beautiful and peaceful. They arrived at the edge of the jungle early on a bright Saturday morning, eager to explore. The sun was shining, the air smelled fresh, and the forest was alive with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. They trekked deeper into the jungle, their laughter and chatter echoing through the trees. The adventure was only just beginning. As they hiked, they noticed that the trail became more overgrown, and the air grew cooler. Tyler, the most adventurous of the group, was leading the way. They came across an overgrown stone path, leading them to a large, abandoned temple, its structure barely visible through the thick vines. Its sheer age and mystery made it irresistible. The ancient stone was weathered with time, and the carvings on its walls were covered with moss and ivy. "Wow, this place is incredible," said Emily, peering through the vines. "I've heard rumors about temples like this in the jungle. Maybe there's treasure inside." Jason, the more cautious one, raised an eyebrow. "Or maybe it's best we keep moving. There's no telling what's in there." But Tyler, already excited, pushed forward. "What's the worst that could happen? Let's check it out. It'll be fun." Reluctantly, the others followed, each of them with their own mix of excitement and apprehension. As they stepped inside the darkened temple, the temperature dropped significantly. The air felt thick, almost suffocating. The stone walls of the temple were covered with faded symbols, and a strange sense of unease filled the air. As they ventured deeper, Tyler accidentally stepped on a loose stone. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath their feet, and without warning, the stone floor collapsed, sending them plummeting into the dark abyss below. They screamed as they fell, disoriented, hitting the rough, jagged walls of the pit before landing hard on the floor below. When they finally stopped moving, they lay still for a moment, trying to recover from the shock. The cave was pitch black except for the faint glow of their cell phones. Groaning, Tyler pushed himself to his feet. "Is everyone okay?" he called out. "I'm fine, just a little bruised," Emily answered, her voice shaky. "I think I hurt my leg," Jason said, wincing as he tried to stand. His knee was swollen and scraped, but nothing appeared to be broken. Ava, though frightened, was doing her best to stay calm. "We're stuck, aren't we? How are we going to get out of here?" Tyler cursed under his breath as he glanced around the cavern. The walls of the pit were steep and smooth, offering no foothold to climb. The sound of water dripping echoed around them. They had no way to get out. "I'll try climbing," Jason said, trying to scramble up the wall. But as he reached for a hold, his fingers slipped, and he came crashing down. "Great, now what?" Emily said, her voice trembling with panic. "We need to get out before it gets dark." Ava was staring at the far side of the cavern. "Look, there's something over there. A small opening, maybe it's a way out." The group hurried toward it, but it was blocked by a pile of rubble. "It's no use," Tyler said, frustrated. "We can't move this on our own." Hours passed, and the group grew more desperate. The darkness outside the pit was now complete, and they realized they had no idea how long they had been down there. Every effort to escape failed. They had no food, no water, and their phones were almost dead. "Help!" they shouted in unison. "Is anyone out there?" But the silence of the jungle swallowed their voices. Just when they were about to lose hope, they heard something, a rustling from above. A rope suddenly dropped into the pit, its end swaying in the air. "Don't panic. Hold on," a voice called down from above, steady and calm. "Who's there?" Tyler called, shielding his eyes from the flickering light at the top of the pit. A figure appeared, silhouetted against the dim sky. He was tall, dressed in rugged outdoor gear, and had a calm but confident demeanor. He rappelled down the rope with practiced precision, and before long, he landed beside the group. "I'm Chase Westbrook," he said, his voice deep but reassuring. "I'm a survival guide. I patrol this jungle. Looks like you folks got yourselves into a bit of trouble." Tyler stared at him in disbelief. "How did you find us?" Chase gave a half-smile. "I've been keeping an eye on the area. I saw your tracks earlier, so I decided to keep an eye out. Lucky for you, I came when I did." Ava's eyes filled with tears of relief. Thank you so much." Chase was already looking around, assessing the situation. This jungle can be dangerous. It's easy to get lost or fall into traps if you don't know where you're going. But don't worry, I've got you. He motioned for the group to follow him. "We've got a long way to go, but I'll get you all to safety." And so began the rescue. Chase guided them through a series of hidden tunnels, each more treacherous than the last. They wove through tight spaces, climbed over sharp rocks, and crossed narrow ledges over deep ravines. The jungle around them grew darker as night descended, but Chase remained focused, his every move sure and steady. At one point, while crossing a rickety rope bridge, Jason lost his footing and nearly fell. Chase caught him by the arm, pulling him back onto the bridge just in time. "Hold tight," he said, his voice calm even in the face of danger. The group pressed on, their exhaustion mounting with each step. But through it all, Chase remained unwavering, leading them with the confidence of someone who had spent a lifetime in the wild. After hours of navigating the jungle's labyrinth, they reached a high ridge. From here, they could see the faint lights of a small village far below. It was still a long way off, but it was the first sign of civilization they had seen since they fell into the pit. They descended the ridge carefully, using ropes and makeshift climbing gear. When they finally reached the bottom, the group collapsed onto the soft grass, their legs trembling with fatigue. "We made it," Emily said, her voice barely a whisper. Chase nodded, wiping sweat from his forehead. "You're safe now. Just remember, the jungle is unpredictable. If you're ever out here again, be careful. Stick to the marked trails, and always keep an eye on the weather." As they walked together toward the village, Tyler turned to Chase with deep gratitude. "We don't know how to thank you. You saved our lives." Chase smiled, but there was a hint of sadness in his eyes. "I've done my part. But remember, nature is both beautiful and dangerous. It's not something to be taken lightly." The friends were silent for a moment, reflecting on how close they had come to disaster. They had come into the jungle for fun, but they had learned a valuable lesson, one they would carry with them for the rest of their lives. As they neared the village, they turned to thank Chase one last time, but he was already walking away, blending into the dark trees. They would never know where he went, or who he truly was. But to them, Chase Westbrook was a hero, the man who had saved them from the jungle's deadly grip.